Okay, so here we are in Illustrator, and we're going to open up a new file. So we're going to go to Create New, and at the top it should say Print, and we want to make sure we're in inches over here. So select inches, 8.5 by 11 is fine. Create. It'll open up a template for me. So there's my white page, and I want to make sure that I can see my Smart Guides, and that's checked. And then I also want to make sure that everything below that, all these are unchecked. Okay, so we're ready to go. So I'm going to do this with a hexagon. So you go over to the tool on the left, it's the polygon tool. Polygon tool isn't highlighted, just hold it down and go to polygon tool. Remember, hold your shift key down and click, and it'll show you what it wants. So you want a 6-sided radius, 1.62 is fine. Let's click OK. It's going to give me my hexagon. Click on the arrow selection on the left, click there, and we can move it all around wherever we want to go. So we have it ready to go. Okay, so now for a hexagon, what you're going to have to do is there's several types. If I want to expand it, by the way, you would hold the shift key down and grab one of the edges, because if you don't hold the shift key down, it'll make a wonky hexagon, and you want to keep it a regular hexagon. So if you want to make it bigger so you can see it, just hold that shift key down and then expand it. Okay, so for a hexagon, one of the simplest translations or simplest tessellations is to just translate every side. So you make a design on one side and translate it to the other. Make one up here, translate it down, make one up here, translate it. So that's the simplest one. A second variety would be to make a design using the point vertex of that hexagon and pivot, or rotate it up here. Make a design here, use that as a pivot point, rotate again. So you could do 3 rotation sides, you can do the 3 translate sides, or a combination of the 2. So you can do translate 1 and then pivot. So there are all these different types of things you can do to make it work. So we're going to do, let's do a rotation one, because the translate one's pretty self-explanatory, but I want to make sure you understand rotation. So over here, your tools, you have a choice of the pen tool, which will make things straight, zigzaggy, etc. You can also make it curvy by adjusting how that is received. You can do that. You can go down here to the pencil tool, which is just freehand. You can even go to the paint tool, paintbrush tool. Makes it a little thicker, not as easy to work with. So I'm going to go to the pencil tool just because I like the pencil tool. So what I'm going to do is on one side, I'm just going to make some shape up, 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 out. Something like that. I'm not sure what I want. Go up to your selection tool, take a look what you've got. It's not quite going to hit the edges, but that's fine. I can always make it match up later. If I want to make that a little more interesting, go to the white arrow on the other side. All your pivot points show up, and you can kind of play with it by attacking a point or two at a time. So I can stretch that out. I can go in here, use the handlebar, sort of play with it. So you can do a variety of things. You can make sure that you are, see, the handlebar will stretch it and make it more of a curved shape. You can go up here and change that so it's going to make it, instead of pointy, it'll make it smoother. Okay, you have all these options to just kind of play with a little bit and see what you've got. It's not very interesting, but whatever. So let's then slide it towards, okay, and remember you want it to connect to that end of that hexagon. So I've got to go to the white, to the arrow on the right side. I've got to click that last anchor point. Okay, it's way over here, but I need to make sure that it clicks on that hexagon. So I'm going to make sure it's right on there. And same for this one. I'm going to make sure it gets right on that hexagon. Okay, so you can expand it and see it's not quite there. Okay, you want to get it right on that anchor point. Okay, so sometimes, oops, that's bad. When you move the hexagon, that's bad. All right, I just want this guy to move. So I've got to take that anchor point out and get it right on there. Okay, So it looks like I'm on, this one's not quite on. I got to get him on there. Okay, let's see. Okay, we're playing a little bit with it. Get it right on there. Okay, and we're going to join it later, so it's okay. All right, so I'm going to take that shape, and what I want to do is then rotate it onto this side using this as my pivot point. So the easiest way to do it is to select the whole thing, okay, and you're going to rotate it. Okay, so you can just take this, you can either do it by hand here, or you can go up to Object, Transform, Rotate. Okay, now 120 degrees is what you're going to do because it's this interior angle of that hexagon, which is 120 degrees. So I'm rotating at 120 degrees, hit copy, and then you'll see the copy of the one you rotated, and you should be able to just slide it up to where it belongs on that side. Okay, so you see what I did? I took this and I literally rotated it 180 degrees over here. And I want to do it again to the two other sides. So on this side, let's do the pen tool. Okay, I'm going to do the pen tool. Not too interesting. It's just going to make some zigzaggies. Okay, now see how it selected this other guy? I don't want it to select that guy. So I'm going to start a little bit off. I'm going to start up here because otherwise it'll make a continuous drawing with your previous side. Okay, so there's my thing. Again, not the most interesting, but it's not bad. Okay, and I want to make sure that I match it up, so I'm going to have to go to the white arrow, hit my anchor point, and then get it right up there. So I select it over here, right up here, stretch it down there so it gets on there. Okay, so now I have that side, and I'm going to do the same thing. I am going to rotate this mirror over to this side. Okay, so I'm going to select that piece. You gotta make sure you select just the one you want to rotate, the one you just worked on. Otherwise, it'll take everything else with it, which is not a good thing. There. Okay, just want that. I'm going to Object, Transform. I'm going to rotate it 120 degrees, hit Copy. And you can see your copy. Just slide your copy down, and it should match up. Right there. You might have to play with the edges as well. Okay, and then we've got one last side to do that with, and I'll do the pen tool again. Let me move him up a little bit. Where's my pen tool? There you go. All right, so we'll go down here. We'll do something. Actually, I'll do more loopy-doopy stuff. So I'll go, wah. Something weird. Okay. Slide him down in here. Okay. Hit the black arrow tool, take this guy, make sure he matches there. Okay, and that one, let's take him out back in so we know he's there. Okay, and again, we're going to select him and rotate it. So that guy, Object, Transform, Rotate, 120, copy, move him over. Let's make sure he doesn't crash into the other part. He's pretty close. There, looks pretty good. I think I just made it over there. Okay, now you've got to shrink it down a little bit so you can see what you've got. And if, oops, don't move your hexagon. Okay, and if you want to make sure it's one solid piece, you're going to have to select everything and you're going to have to join them. So you're going to go up and you're going to go Object, Path, Join. So now all the pieces that were loose should be together. And what we need to do is get rid of our hexagon. So we'll have to select the hexagon and get rid of it. So just the hexagon should be able to go away. There it is. And there's my tessellated shape. Now, I'm not too comfortable with that piece over there. Might be a little odd. But let's see how it fits together. Okay. So let's take our whole shape and let's shrink it down a little bit. So we're going to object transform. We're going to come back here. We're going to shrink it. So we're going to go to scale, and 60% is fine. Make sure it's a uniform scale. So we're going to go OK. So there it is. And let's see if we can get this guy to tessellate for us. So we're going to copy it, and we're going to paste it, and let's see if we can fit it together. So where are we going to fit it together? Okay, so I see this little wavy thing is probably that. Let's see, we've got to turn it around. Is that guy going to go in there? You want to be able to fit it together. That wavy part, I have to kind of get it in there around that. Let's see if we can get it in there, right there. There. Looks like that fits quite nicely. And then I'm going to copy and paste another one. Okay, here's another one. And let's see where this piece should be. Well, it looks like it's there. So what I'm going to have to do is turn it around. So get your little cursor here so that it looks like it's a turning point. Just turn it around so that it gets to the place where you can fit your part together. Now that actually, I see it's over here, so I've got to go a little further in there. Let's get it around like that. It looks like that is the way it wants to fit into that piece. A little bit more. So it just takes a little patience. When you have them cut, they'll be loose pieces and they'll fit together nicely. Right now, it's just there, very precise. Okay, so there you go. Now I can keep going and fit together a couple more, see if I can get it to work. But you get the idea that that's going to be a tessellation using hexagons. And all I did was I rotated 120 degrees to the other side. Okay, so I'll do another video on how to take it from here and get it ready for the makerspace. Okay.